morning, Mayor.
Good morning, Joe.
I guess if you're going to have snow, to have it on a holiday is not such a bad thing.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a lot. It was just enough to be a pest. It dragged on a bit, so they used some salt, obviously, but no, it's not bad.
A little primer,
That's right.
just in case. Yes,
Make sure everything's working.
exactly. Was it?
Everything was fine.
Oh, good.
Absolutely.
Glad to hear that. Any activities in your world for the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday yesterday?
No, there was no official events, but certainly we did a video the other day, and we had an ad in the Quincy Sun, and I think it's important to remember the message of Dr. King, which obviously he changed the United States forever, and how it looked at civil rights and the rights of everybody. He was a remarkable individual, and it's appropriate to have a holiday in his honor. And I think it's important to remember that we're not perfect, and there's still work to be done, but it should be done in a constructive way. He was a very positive, constructive guy. He was against any type of violence in all of the marches and things they had. Just an incredible human being who died way too young. Obviously died a tragic death by an assassin's bullet, much like JFK and Robert Kennedy did around that crazy time of the 60s. But obviously leaves an incredible legacy.
And I recall years past here in Quincy, there was breakfast events and other celebrations. Do you think anything like that might come back in the future?
I think so. I think the pandemic affected everything, and we're still getting back to whatever was the normal schedule. So yeah, I do think so.
Let's talk a little bit about what's coming up. Your State of the City, 2 weeks from today, actually. Have you started on it yet?
Yes. I better get moving.
You better get you moving on it. Well, you've done a few of them, so I think you're pretty skilled at it by now.
Yeah, we'll get it done, of course.
Is there a theme developing that you can talk about?
We'll talk a little bit about the last. I haven't done one in 2 years, as you know, so we'll talk a little bit about the rearview mirror and what we experienced, but it's really about going forward. So we'll spend some time on that. And, it's the city of Quincy. It's not rocket science. It's really talking about infrastructure and needs and challenges that we face, and put them in perspective in the greater worldview. So we'll get there. I'm good under pressure.
What are kind of some of the priorities you'd like for the city council to focus on this year?
Well, we're still kind of working on that. We're assessing, everything, our debt capacity and where we are. And, we've got 80 municipal buildings, for example. We've made a lot of progress over the last several years, particularly the schools. We'll continue to pursue those, and in particular, the Squantum School, which is, as you know, is in the pipeline now with the School Building Authority. We made tremendous progress the last 2 years on the roads, and pipes, streets, and sidewalks. So, a lot of progress there. We've got a lot of work done on our parks over the last few years as well. So, but there's still work to be done. We're an old city, old infrastructure, and things wear and tear, and we got to stay up with it, just like people do with their homes. So, we'll have more to say on the 31st with that.
Okay. One of the carryovers from last year was the proposal for a residency requirement for new employees, city employees. Have you given thought to that?
Yeah, I've definitely given it a thought, and I probably would 20 years ago be all for it, but in today's environment, I think it's difficult. We do call for residency lists for police and fire, for example, so there is some of that going on, but it's and many of our teachers are Quincy kids that went through the system and went off and got their education and got past their boards and now are teachers. But, for example, there's a lot of teacher categories that's challenging to get teachers for, particularly in the science areas, sometimes the foreign language areas. So, and going forward, the employment issues looking around the country, and we're not immune to it here in the Boston region, is challenging. And I just think that could be problematic in us filling some positions over time. Now, maybe there's a clause in there that says first preference as a resident. After that, if we can't fill it, then we go outside. So, again, I'm we're looking at the language, and I certainly appreciate the spirit of the resolve. But we will have a response to the council fairly soon.
Okay, we'll look forward to that certainly. Coming up, of course, is your 60th birthday, Mayor.
Who told you that?
It's the worst kept secret in the city, I think. Any special plans?
No. I told my wife, just low key. No, special. We had a nice party for my wife. She turned 60 not long ago.
Oh.
It's just she's a couple of weeks before me, so I always tell people I married an older woman. But it's only about 2 weeks, so. But it's still true.
I know you'd mentioned you were planning on making an announcement about your future political plans by the end of this winter or early spring. Is that still the case?
Yeah. You just get busy with the daily activities, and I haven't had that conversation with my wife. I will in the coming weeks. Certainly, her opinion matters to me. So, I still enjoy what I'm doing. So, we'll see what happens.
All right. Speaking of elections, we should remind folks today is the preliminary election for the Ward 4 City Council seat.
And for a day in January, it's not bad. It's going to be high 40s, and we get the sun out, so people can't use the weather as an excuse.
That's right. There are 5 precincts in Ward 4. They've already had early voting and absentee balloting, so many opportunities, certainly.
Absolutely.
Appreciate your time as always, Mayor.
You as well, Joe.
All right.
Have a good one.
You too. Yep. Bye-bye.